specificity is something that often gets kind of put to the wayside in fitness. So this should hopefully be a good reminder for a lot of people. So specificity in fitness simply states that to get better at a specific task in fitness, and I'll give some examples in a second, to get better at a specific task in fitness, you must do that task as close to the task as possible. So let's give some sport examples. We can look at a pitcher in baseball. A pitcher, if he's trying to get the best pitching, right? Best pitching speed, best pitching power, best pitching mechanics, most of his training is going to be pitching. We wouldn't have that pitcher, for example, if we look at the sprinter in track, do a sprint workout. Why? It's working very different muscle groups. It's working very different motor patterns. So your central nervous system's ability to actually work on that specific thing is going to be different. We might have him do sprints at some point because maybe he'll be running the bases, but that's going to be a very small portion of his training because most of the time when he's in his given sport, he's going to be pitching. So that's kind of a big thing. And another good example is a hockey and goalie. Being a hockey, or specifically a goalie in hockey, you're going to need to have really good hip flexibility. You're going to need to be able to move laterally very, very quickly. Your overall cardio and stamina might not need to be as high as a normal hockey player, so you might not be doing as much sprinting, back and forth ice sprints as them. You might be doing a little bit more flexibility work. You might be getting a little more heat tolerance, right? Getting used to just having all that gear on you. If we look at this from examples in the gym, if you are somebody who's trying to improve their back squat, for example, you need to be doing the back squat mainly. And you might be doing other exercises in addition to this, some lunges, working that unilateral strength. But for the most part, you need to be very specific to your given goals. Now, despite this, there is some crossover between modalities. So if you take somebody who's running for a lot of their workouts, and then you take them to biking, maybe take them on a stationary bike, for example, you'll probably notice that cardiovascularly, or the ability to basically produce aerobic capacity, so the ability to do a long duration activity like running, if you take them biking, they will be able to do that a little bit better than somebody who is completely detrained, simply because they have built that base of cardiovascular work. But they will not be as good as somebody who just does biking because they're very specific to that exact goal, very specific to that movement. They're getting local muscular endurance built in their legs if somebody is doing cycling more. Versus if somebody's doing running more, they might get a little more ankle strength. They might get a little more hamstring strength. They're going to have to build a lot of strength around their knees to be able to handle all that pounding that happens from that. So similar exercises, similar in what they accomplish in getting us cardiovascularly fit, but the one who is the most specific to that actual thing in their training, the one who does it the most, is going to reap the biggest benefits. So just remember that if, let's use a 5K for example, a lot of people will have that as like a summer goal. The best way to train for a 5K is to run. Get good at running, right? We wouldn't have you train for a 5K by doing biking. In addition to running, we would have you mainly running. Now, with that said, it is good to kind of switch up your overall routines every now and again to limit overuse and injury. But understanding your goals and understanding that you need to be very intentional to these goals will allow you to reap the biggest benefits in your overall fitness program for yourself. So specificity is super, super huge and super, super important.